Okay. So we start with the Five of Fire, which is about competing goals with other people, some internal strife. This does not tend to be major struggles. Can be sometimes the petty squabbles that we go through in our day-to-day, in our lives. Fire is the suit of passion. So just like yourself, Sagittarius, you're a fire sign. So we are thinking along those lines that it could just be competing passions. Having arguments with your teenager. It could be maybe some challenges about how to accomplish a specific goal. Maybe the goals aren't even the same for something, and that you're having to deal with that. Right. One of the things we want to remember anytime we're dealing with a conflict with another person is to choose our battles. On the one hand, if you do say no, mean it, right? If you need time to think about it, you're perfectly entitled to do that. And you can always set an appointment to come back and have a further discussion about, either taking it to the next level of discussion or stating this is what I've decided in an issue. So don't think that just because something comes up in the here and now and someone pushes your buttons and gets you hot under the collar about something, it does not mean that you have to make that decision in the spot when emotions may be running high. Cooler minds tend to help anyway, right? They do tend to help. So choose your battles. Be sure that you're defining your terms, that you understand what it is that you're discussing. And not everybody is going to be discussing things either. So there's the knowledge of that. Are you spinning your wheels and staying stuck in a pointless discussion or argument about something? It can be tough to figure that out sometimes, which is which. But always, if you disagree with somebody, let the other person walk away with their dignity. You never will get anywhere with somebody if they feel like they have to eat shit in order to sway to your opinion, right? Or to see your point on something. It will never happen. You get people to dig in their heels. And I'm over the swearing thing, so sometimes these may fall out, but I'll try not to make a habit to pepper this stuff, but I cannot guarantee I won't be shooting some swear words out. Six of Air is about movement, emotion, things coming up, difficulties coming to an end. So if you have been experiencing some difficulties at home, some conflict with people, difficulties even at work. I mean, the Five of Fire could be about workplace situations and drama too. This is about forward movement, getting on with it, floating downriver, being done. So that's good. At least it's not going to stick around. Now, Eight of Air, this is kind of on your mind. This can be anxiety, self-imposed anxiety. Sometimes I don't mean to say by self-imposed anxiety that there's not something to feel anxious about or to be upset about. Clearly, that's not the case, or you would not be feeling anxiety in the first place. But is it a question of self-talk? Is it a question of how we're viewing a situation that's giving us the anxiety? Sometimes the fear of having a panic attack can trigger a panic attack. Now, not all anxiety is a panic attack, but all panic attacks are a form of anxiety. It's kind of the crescendo. Now, the card here states an illusion of being trapped. An illusion is when you believe something that is not the same thing as the reality. So it could be that you may not be seeing the exit door, the options, the alternatives in a situation. Sometimes people have difficulties when they're living with somebody that they're romantically involved with, and they're like, they're fighting all the time. It's really frustrating. Sometimes we need to think outside the box. Well, just because we're with somebody in a committed monogamous relationship does not mean we have to live with that person. That's okay too. Sometimes it's about carving out your own way, your own style of doing something. So this can be a good opportunity for you to reach out to other people, connect with them, see if there are alternative ideas and options. And we do learn a lot in our relationships to other people. So be sure that you're seeking out friends that may be able to, or confidants or whomever that may be able to help you kind of get some new and fresh ideas, a new take on what it is that that may be some of your alternatives here. Seven of Fire is making me think a little bit about the Five of Fire that was covering you there, right? This is about defending your beliefs and decisions, standing your ground, and choosing your battles wisely. And that's funny because that's exactly what I said, but I really wasn't even paying attention to this card. So when we do see ourselves in a non-harmonious way, I mean, is this about somebody spending the last of the money before you've got your rent paid? That's something that's real serious. Or is it about, do we go with the red or do we go with the white sweater this Christmas? Or, which holiday greeting card do we choose? That's just a stupid example, but you know what I mean. Now, we see here in your recent past the completion of a cycle. This is really happy tidings. The Judgment card is about moving through, learning the karmic lesson. This is the part just beyond that, where you're celebrating the fact that you've completed something, that you've gotten through something. Could be a rough time, but not necessarily. It really heralds a time of personal growth and development. And this is quite symbolic, too, of rebirth. So this is about, and I'll read the bottom here, a job well done, joy, contentment, and gratitude, and the path toward enlightenment. So this is about you learning something brand new. Now, with the end of a cycle begins a new cycle. And it could be sometimes that when we complete something, when we learn something or are moving on to the new level, sometimes there's that itching. It's kind of like if you've ever had dry skin. I remember when I was a kid, and I would take a bath and it would be like almost all the time there'd be skin that would peel off my feet or something. That's growing. Sometimes that can itch. Your dry skin can itch. And that's because you're shedding your old skin and replacing it with new skin. So there's that level of growth that comes with that. So bear in mind that could be some of the source of your difficulties with the 5 of fire and the 7 of fire energies. Could be your new growth and you're trying to get comfortable in your new skin, so to speak. All right. 8 of fire. This is a lot of passion. This is a lot of communication. This is a lot of motion. This is very fast-moving energy. If you were experiencing any kind of delay towards your goals, this is all changing. Remember, we saw the 6 of air. This is about forward movement. So ask yourself, where in your life were you feeling possibly stagnant? Not necessarily so, but you're now going to be experiencing a lot of growth and change. Movement, forward movement. Doesn't have to be literal forward movement, though it could be moving to a new location. Getting a new house, getting a new job. Maybe if you've been starting a business and it's been slow coming up, maybe now you're having a lot more coming in, a lot of referrals, a lot of everything. This is great communication, new location, etc. And so for some of you, it's literal. For some of you, it's more of a metaphor. But either way, this is about you're rocking it really this season. This month is going to be really good for you. Now, 2 of air, this card represents you in kind of your place. This is sort of about being at a stalemate, being unable or unwilling to make a decision, pretending that there is no problem. Air is our intellect. It's our thoughts and our thinking. Sometimes we overthink something. And I know I'm an expert at this, right? Like, I'll have an impulse to do something and then I'll have to weigh and measure it 1,000 times over until I talk myself in and out of it. And then I wind up doing nothing and I wind up stymied because I have not just grabbed the opportunity by the horns and made it happen. We have to be super careful not to tie ourselves into a knot, I think, with that. It may be helpful. Take a couple deep breaths, relax. Ask yourself, as if it's no more serious than if you're ordering chocolate or mint chocolate chip ice cream at the local Baskin Robbins or whatever. Like ask yourself that kind of a question and see what's the feeling, that kind of washes over you. Do you feel a pain in your heart chakra? Do you feel a glowing in your heart chakra? If you're not familiar with the chakras, I highly recommend that you Google that because you can find where some of your energy spots are on your body. And we know that our body communicates with us when we are stuck, when we are at this kind of crossroads, when we don't know what to do, we don't know what we're thinking or feeling about something emotionally. Feel your body, right? If you have tension in your shoulders, what's that about, right? We can literally get an ulcer because we're so stressed out about something. So we know, there's real proof that our emotional state can influence our physical being. So if we check in with our body, sometimes we can understand the best thing to do. And that doesn't have to be serious like an ulcer, but it can simply be we just check in with our body and see if we can get any kind of a physical reaction. Do we start to get a headache when we think about these issues? I'm looking at their, what is it, a horn? Their corns, I guess, their horns, crossing, and I'm thinking, man, if I had to walk around, smacking at other animals with my head horn, I would have a headache all the time. I used to because I was stressed out, right? Anyway, I'm babbling, so I'll move on. Babbling is what I do, it's who I am. In your environment, there's memories from your history, childhood, issues regarding children, and romanticizing the past. This is the time for that. This is the time of year when, especially in the northern parts, I can't say for more southern climes, but, there's that time of year. Phoenix was kind of in the summertime because it's so hot. But you kind of go in and this is when you're telling stories, the storytelling time. And you're remembering about your past and you're thinking about holidays from your past tense. You're thinking about relatives that are no longer with you. It's kind of carried on from Halloween, which sort of has a different energy to it, into the holiday times. Because when it's really cold out, we want to huddle up in our cave under a warm blanket and we don't want to leave the house all that much. If we do go out, they tend to be nice affairs that involve, sitting around a fireplace and drinking hot chocolate or eggnog or whatever the case. But, this is really about people coming in from your past. It's about thinking about things from your past. Maybe for some of you, it's about struggling to determine how do I make the things of my past relevant into my present tense and into my future. We think too, like the older we get, we think about our legacy. What are we doing for our children? How are we passing along the things that were wonderful about our youth and the messages of our elders in our clan? How do we pass that on to the subsequent generations of people, right? So there can be considerations of that sort this time of year. Hopes and fears. This card is awakening, looking at things from a different perspective, a temporary standstill, and it's important to be yourself. Very much so. Be true. Be true to you. Be honest, right? Sorry, my kitten likes to eat things when I'm that he shouldn't be when I'm doing these readings. If I think I'll put a link to a video. He's been playing fetch lately. Like, he brings it up to me. I called it his sparkle ball. He brings it up to me and I'll throw it and then I'll bring it right back. He's better than my golden retriever at retrieving. Anyway, off to the race. Clearly I'm having a scatterbrain moment. But if you look at things in a new way, maybe this ties back in with your romanticization of the past, where you are trying to blend your past and your future together with a present tense meaning, right? But also to do things in your own way, trying to bridge that gap between those things. Maybe it's what you're hoping to be able to do, but in a sense, there's a kind of a fear with that too. Can I let go of some of my traditions without disavowing my past or invalidating my past, and the people that were in that may no longer be here to share in these times with my kids and my future generations and my current situation? How can I reconcile these things? Right? How can I bring all of these traditions together and also keep them relevant moving forward? So awakening, again, that in part, you got to check in with yourself too, right? Check in with yourself and remind yourself of the things that make you feel good and joyful. Don't lose the forest for the trees, right? Just like with the conflict here, it's less important that everybody make exactly the specific recipes and all the rest that used to be done. It's okay if the new generation wants to add a pinch of this or a pinch of that, or they want to change things up or shake it up or whatever. Creating your own unique experiences that you can enjoy. Being in the moment. Don't worry. Worrying is future orientation, and we saw this with the Eight of Air. You don't have to be perfect these holidays. You don't have to be perfect for yourself, your family, your partner. You don't have to be, I hate the term partner actually for romantic, but you know what I mean. You don't have to be perfect for anyone. Just be perfectly yourself. You are enough. You are enough. This is my new mantra, by the way. You are enough. Knight of Air. Reading from the bottom, events that occur with great speed. Take time to carefully review your options and creative solutions. What it is that you're hoping for in your awakening card, and maybe a little fearful of at the same time, this will come for you. Again, it's honoring who you are, honoring where you've come from, how much you've grown, honoring the fact that you really have completed this beautiful cycle, that you're moving on to the next great thing. Now, Knight of Air can also be a Gemini. It can be a Libra. It can be an Aquarius person. Or it can simply be a situation that's coming in very quickly with honesty. Sometimes our Knights don't always put things kindly the way we might want them to do. But that's all right, right? A little tact. Again, choose your battles, because, do you really want to argue over that statement and da-da-da-da-da? We may have to let some things go. Knight of Air is about having the wisdom. Ow, 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 ow. My cat's clawing through my leg. Go the fuck away. He's so cute, though. Anyway, so it's kind of about, people may, just like my cat, right? Maybe he's teaching us something. They can say something or do something that kind of hurts for a moment, but it's keep it in its perspective. And you know what? It's not about you, right? It's not about you. Him falling off of my leg while I'm doing this reading and grabbing with his little claws into my pant leg, which would be fine, but he took a little skin with it. All right. Not a fan, but, in doing that, again, it's not personal. It's not personal. When somebody's being kind of harsh with their statement, and let's not forget, this did come out reversed initially. When someone's a little harsh with that, it's more about them than about you. So be very careful. Don't personalize somebody else's stuff. Choose your battles. Choose your battles. You don't have to take on their crap. I'm thinking of those kids that come home from college the first semester, and they're like, they've got all these lofty ideas, and now they think their parents are crap because they've learned two half-truths. They can't really fill out the picture yet. I'm not trying to pick on young people, because young people, they bring so much wonderful stuff to the world. Passion, intensity, intellectual curiosity, all the rest of it. There is something wonderful to be had with experience, though. The kind of experience that can come from having lived your life and having learned many, many, many lessons. We need each other, the younger people, the older people. We're all kind of in this together. So be very, very careful that because somebody else is coming on in a blaze of glory doesn't mean that you have to be, you don't have to be upset with that. I mean, again, take it as it resonates, and I'm not trying to belittle anybody's discomfort, because people can say some very, very ugly things to one another. However, we can't control what other people think, say, or do either, right? What they think, what they say, or what they do, to a certain extent, right? There's a principle of nonviolence here, not initiating violence and all the rest. So just be very, very careful. I'm drawn to look at the unicorn here and how he's got a light on the end of his horn. And I don't think I've ever noticed that before. I feel like light your own way, right? When it comes to figuring out your traditions and your past and how you want to celebrate that, when you want to have a nice, quaint or quiet holiday season, whatever, light your own way in that. Create your own traditions, light your own way. And if someone thinks that your ideas are stupid, they want to, my mom would say poo-poo. If somebody wants to poo-poo your way of doing things or your traditions or your anything like that, you don't have to listen to that or give it any mind, because one day that person's going to be old enough to appreciate the environment that you created, the loving, homespun, cabin socks, cozy feet, hot cocoa environment that you created for them. And as we all know, life is a terminal illness, and everybody that's born will die. And, we never know when that's going to be us or when that's going to be. We appreciate people in the here and now. Let love be the biggest thing that unites you and your family this holiday season, right? Don't be steered off course because someone's brazen or brash, and they don't want to. sit back with their opinions, right? Okay. Let me roll out an oracle card. I will read that from the book. Kind of as a companion for our angel tarot cards, I have healing with the for our oracle. Again, I'm sorry if it's too dark to see anything. I'm really kind of getting a kick out of my balls. See my balls? Got my lovely little holiday balls over here. This one's support. And I love it because, again, this has to do with this idea of family and ancestors. Look at this beautiful card, right? The card's meaning: God, the angels, and the ascended masters who love, protect, and guide you are watching over you right now. You are not alone and you are safe. This card reassures you that you are part of an awesome and powerful team of benevolent beings. They surround, guide, and love you constantly. If you are in danger, they will intervene with warnings or life-saving measures. If you are afraid, they will comfort you with the energy of divine love. If you are confused, they will whisper guidance in your ear. By drawing this card, your angels and guides ask you to talk to them more frequently. Have mental conversations with them about everything, and you will soon see evidence of their existence. Soon the angels will enlist you to help other people. If you ever feel doubtful about your ability to help others, ask the angels to help you release these fears. And for sure, setting out your intentions, praying, asking them to help support you during the holiday season, and any of your family times, any of your goings on, ask them to support you and help you. Ask for those signs. Ask for them to let you know that they are listening and that they are providing guidance. It really does work. I can promise you that it works. And it will be in divine timing, right? So don't, by tomorrow at 3:00, I expect to see my sign. Obviously that's not going to work. But open yourself up for that, and you will see unbelievable things in your life. And you will see, too, that sometimes they can kind of work behind the scenes, and they can help motivate and move people within their own heart, that you come together in a peaceable way, that your 8 of air anxiety that we were experiencing over here could be nothing more than that. It could just be a thought. This is in the place of thought. This is what's on your mind, this card. It doesn't mean it's going to come to pass. It means that you're kind of concerned. You might have some rough times coming up. So remember, ask for help. It's not too silly. I'm convinced that human beings were born to learn how to love. And for some people, it's about learning to love themselves. And for others, it's about learning how to love other people. For most people, we're some kind of a blend of that, right?